Full interview with Xavier Liska, Cash Office Supervisor. What is your name, your job, and your major?
Okay. I'm Xavier Liska. I'm a cash office supervisor at Freshco, and I'm also a second year student studying Honors Bachelor of Film and Television at Sheridan College.
Can you tell me what events led you to the career that you're currently working in? What events led you to choose your major?
Okay, so for my job, I was looking for a job. I just finished a certificate program at Sheridan College. I was kind of restless. I was like up all night working on essays and stuff, so my sleep schedule was messed up. And I saw that Freshco needed night shift workers back when they were 24 hours. And I said, hey, I need money in between programs. And, I'd like to work the night shift here. And they said, sure, you can work night shift here. Then, of course, we stopped being night shift because of COVID. And I just stayed on there as a cashier, and one thing led to another, and now I'm a supervisor there. As for my program, I've always been interested in making films and like telling stories and stuff since I was a kid in any capacity. Like I've always liked writing, I liked acting, and of course, I love movies and I love filmmaking. And when I finished high school back in 2017, which, holy, that was a long time ago. Right, so I guess I was kind of looking for a sense of direction. I thought I wanted to do acting, but then I wasn't enjoying the acting program I was in. And then after a bit of soul searching, I decided, you know what, I've always liked movie making and like filming stuff, writing scripts. And I decided, you know what, maybe Sheridan's film program, like filmmaking program, is for me instead. Yeah, that's how I ended up in film.
Describe the day-to-day responsibilities of your job.
Right, so I typically open. So I'm working like 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. My jobs consist of counting the tills in the morning, counting up any return receipts, adding up coupons and gift card transactions, discount stickers. That's all part of my morning routine. As part of like my floor duties, I have to make sure that there are no lineups. My boss is very big on that. If there's one person in line, he will beat me with a spoon. I have to make sure everyone gets their breaks on time. I have to make sure that the front end is like tidy and not a total disaster zone. I have to help customers. If a customer has a problem, more often than not, the cashier pages the supervisor first, so I'm the first one to do that. And last but not least, I do all of Rob's minusculous, mundane tasks that he doesn't want to do. Yeah, okay. That's about it.
What do you think is the biggest misconception people have about your job?
I guess one of the misconceptions that's had is that it's an easy job. I mean, it can be pretty easy sometimes. A lot of the misconceptions that are there is like, it's just a high school job. It shouldn't be that stressful. Anyone can do it. It's not that hard to send people on breaks. The reality of it is you have to have good time management. You have to make sure that like everything is. One of the misconceptions is like, it's an easy job. Anyone can do it. I guess another thing about cashiers is that like, they're stupid, because I see a lot of customers come in, they talk down to like the cashiers just because they're high schoolers. They're, you're just a kid. You don't know anything. And sometimes I get treated like a kid, even though I'm 23 years old and I'm not a kid anymore. But, yeah, I guess that's misconceptions. Like we don't know anything. They know everything. And then, what we do is easy, but we really put up with like a lot of like emotional abuse on the daily from rude customers, and it's stressful seeing long lines, both as a cashier and as a supervisor, and it can be a lot to handle. It's definitely a very stressful job. I know it's like the work itself is fairly easy, but like it's still a very stressful job when you take in like the rude customers and having to like manage lineups and all that. It can be a lot sometimes.
What type of people do you think are best suited to pursue your career? What qualities or qualifications would they have to have?
So some qualifications. I would say there aren't really any qualifications to be had per se. Excuse me. But qualities, I'd say they have to be positive, friendly, I'd like to say good with money, or not good with money, but like there are a lot of quick change artists out there, so they have to be like on the ball with that stuff. They have to make sure that they're not getting scammed, because I've seen some things where it's like, I don't know how to explain. Like it's hard, but anyway, you have to be like responsible. You have to be good at communicating, good memory, because those codes are a pain in the butt to memorize. I've been there for 3.5 years and that I don't even know. What else? Yeah, friendly, good at communicating, good memory, attentive, responsible. I'd say those are the qualities that one should have if they were to be a cashier.
Be honest. Do you like your job? Why or why not?
I won't tell. I will be honest. Okay, yeah, don't tell deep. I will be honest. It can be a lot sometimes. It can be a lot with like having to deal with people. Some people's stupidity just kind of tests my patience almost daily. Like I kind of can't fathom how stupid some people are sometimes, and I'm just like internally screaming almost every time I'm there. That said, though, you do meet some cool customers, and being there for 3.5 years, there are some people that I know. Like I won't know their name, I won't talk to them outside of when I'm there, but like I'll know them, and like when I'm there, they talk to me and they get like little updates on like how school's going and how rugby's going and all that stuff. But generally, no, it can be a lot, especially like on Express. Like I'm standing there waiting for the time to go by. Like when there's no one there, I just kind of look down, like counting down the minutes almost, and it's like I've done even like little math in my head. It's like, all right, I'm like 5% of the way through the shift. I'm like 20% of the way through the shift now. It's like, oh, I'm a third of the way. Let's go. Yeah, it can be a little boring and rough sometimes, but otherwise, I don't know. It's a job. I need money, so there are definitely worse jobs out there.
The 3 things I value most in a job are helping people, learning things, and spontaneity. Would you say that your job has these things?
Okay, helping people and spontaneity, sure. Learning things, yeah, I'd say you have to learn things. Yeah, you do learn some things, but that said, there are some cashiers that I've met. I won't name names, but there are some cashiers that I've met who are like, wow, like, how have you not learned this yet? You've been here for a year. Or some people, like, what? Or it's like they don't know what aisle the cereal is in, even though it's right in front of you. But yeah, for the most part, I'd say learning things, but I feel like that's on the lower end between spontaneity, or however you pronounce it, and helping others.
Okay.
In general, what are your biggest concerns about the job market in the future?
Okay, so one concern I've had is they're pretty much replacing a lot of people with computers. So, you go to Freshco, let's say, and Freshco's not as bad because they haven't really fired any cashiers. But like, let's say Walmart, you have like, it's almost entirely self-checkouts. There's like 2 or 3 cashiers going. It's a busy store too. So you have like 2 or 3 like actual cashiers, and it's all self-checkout. So they've like almost entirely eradicated cashiers. They're like replacing essentially workers with computers or machines to avoid like paying people to do jobs. In terms of the job market, there's going to be, I feel like the population just keeps growing and growing. Like there's just more people like born per year as the years go on. I'm not sure how true that is, but my concern is eventually it's going to be like that, and jobs like closing because businesses are closing, replacing humans with technology. You're gonna have a lot of people looking for jobs, but not many jobs being offered. And like literally anything you can do on a computer nowadays, why pay someone to do this when you can do it on a computer? That's one concern I've had. Another thing, this is more economically, I'm kind of worried about. I mean, this goes above like being a cashier or a clerk or something, but with prices of everything going up like a lot faster than minimum wage or like pay raises are coming. One concern I have is that people aren't going to be able to survive. Like a lot of jobs nowadays are considered living wages. Even people I know who are making like $60,000 a year have to make which is a respectable wage, have to get like a second job just to be able to afford to put food on the table. And I think that's crazy. And even then, with all the people looking for jobs, they're not going to be able to get that second job. So everyone's going to be homeless, and we're all going to be in a pit of despair.
Finally, what tips would you give to young people who have trouble deciding what job or major they want to pursue in the future?
Okay, so this is big because it took me 4 years after high school to finally do my current major. My advice is, when you're looking for your job field or what you want to major in, I would say be open-minded. If there's career fairs or job fairs or university fairs, I definitely recommend going and just talking to as many people about anything that interests you. Look online. There's something for everyone. There's always a program for something people wants to do. There's always a job field that someone would be interested in or someone would be very well suited for. And, sometimes you don't get it the first try. I finished 2 certificate programs before I finally settled on my major. And even then, going into my major, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that or a different program. So my advice would be, stay strong, keep your head up. Don't be afraid to back out if it's not working out for you. I knew halfway through my theater program, I did not want to do that anymore. So when I finished, I'm okay, I'm not pursuing the theater route anymore. Screw that. Excuse my language. Just keep your head up. Don't be afraid to back out. I'd say that's it. Just keep looking. You'll find something eventually. You just keep looking.